Hello, hello! I'm here to do a book review. My last video that I posted, I said my next video was going to be an unboxing, and that is coming hopefully on Monday. Um, but I just finished reading this book, and I can't help but talk a little bit about it because when I find something that's worth reading, I really want to share it. So, I got this book that I'm going to talk to you about today in my bookish box from Appraising Pages for the month of June. And here we go. It is Dividing Eden by Joelle Charbonneau, who is the author of the Testing series. I mentioned in my unboxing video how I used to make my summer school students listen to the Testing as an audiobook because I loved the series so much. So when I saw that this book was by her, I was really, really excited and had like a little geek out, freak out moment. Anyway, I finished reading it about 2 minutes ago. This book is fantastic. It has a really great story and an interesting premise. We have twins, Prince and a Princess, and they are twins. We have Karis, or it might be Carice. I pronounce it Karis in my mind, so I'm just going to say Karis. And Andreas. Karis is the girl, Andreas is the boy. And when these twins were born, there was apparently a prophecy that said one of them was going to be born with a curse. And Andreas has a heart condition, and it often causes him to have a lot of pain in his chest, and he has a hard time breathing. And so Karis is told by her mother for pretty much her whole life, one of your jobs is to protect your brother. They do have an older brother, Micah, who's officially the heir to the throne. And so they're not in line to rule or anything, but something bad happens. Both her father and her older brother Micah are killed, and there's kind of a big conspiracy as to how they were actually killed because they were supposed to be traveling in this armed guard with 150 guards around them. So Karis and Andreas are trying to figure out what happened to their father and their brother. They take turns narrating, so the odd number chapters are Karis, and then the even number chapters are Andreas, and we hear from their different points of view. What eventually ends up happening is that the queen, once the king and the crown prince are killed, the queen says, "I don't want my chance to rule." She kind of goes a little bit nutso. And so, according to the laws, when two people have the same strength of claim to the throne as these twins do, they're supposed to be put through a trial of events. The trials will be created by the council, and the winner of those events will eventually rule. So the twins hate this. They don't want to do it, but we start to see a divide between them, and maybe one of them actually wants this. And there's secrets going on here. I told you about Andreas' heart condition. We also find out that there are secrets involving Karis. She kind of, by her mother's fault, got hooked on to some pain medication. It kind of made me think of opium, because it just seems to be something that is very addictive and like makes you drowsy and kills your pain. And for some reason I had that thought in my mind. Anyway, it's medicine that her mother has given her all this time, supposedly to help her fight the pain. And you know, she's kind of come through that, but it's still kind of lingering there, that tempting, well, if I just had a little bit of this, I wouldn't hurt so bad, or this emotion wouldn't hurt, or you know, whatever. So she's struggling with that as well, and come to find out that that actually is being used to dampen something else that's going on with her, which I don't want to tell you. There's some other characters that come into play in this. There's a cute little boy named Max who was kind of rescued by Prince Andreas. He was taken in off the streets and kind of given a job working in the palace, and so you do see how Andreas' caring side and how much he cares for Max. And we also have a character named Imogen, who is the seer. Now, the seer in this land is supposed to help read the winds and the stars and make sure that they have enough light to get through the winter, because this civilization runs on wind power, but they have all these parables in their society about light and darkness, and and there are these creatures outside the city walls that might come and attack them if there's not enough light on the walls. And so there's a lot of light and dark situations going on, and Imogen is supposed to be the seer that's supposed to help predict and take care of that, but there's more to her than meets the eye as well. We have a couple of other characters looming on the in the story. We have Larkin, who is a good friend of Karis, and they're not supposed to be friends because Larkin is a merchant's daughter. Who else is there? There's Lord Garrett, who one of the evil counselors wants him to be the king, and Garrett's got some kind of agenda going on. We don't know what that is. He used to be the older brother Micah's best friend, but then they were friends off all of a sudden one day, and we don't really know why. And then there's this other guy who is a visiting lord, and he really likes Karis, or at least he pretends to, and he has an interest in her and is trying to help her in this competition. So there's all kinds of characters, and if you've kept straight what I've told you, hopefully the story sounds interesting. Basically, we have two siblings trying to do what they feel is right for themselves and for their kingdom, and hopefully not have to battle each other to the death. I think that there's going to be a sequel to this. The story does wrap up fairly well, but there's an opening there. So my prediction is that there's going to be at least one more in this series, if not a trilogy. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. Dividing Eden, Joelle Charbonneau. And if you do read it and would like to, leave me a comment about how you like the story, and maybe we'll have a little chat. All right, happy reading. Have a lovely day. Adios.